Well, I think I'm going to have to start keeping my mouth shut on these videos, because whenever I say something about the case of the situation or whatever that we're in, the universe just finds a way to just go, you think this now, you wait till tomorrow. Obviously, I said that everything was fine with Ollie playing out the other day, and then he had a couple of days where it was difficult. That's all been fine. Today was great. It was all good. But yesterday I talked about how knackered I was, and the universe decided that today, poor old Claire, who has it much worse than I do, has to be at work until late. It's nearly 9 o'clock at the moment. She's not back yet because they've got a case that I don't know the ins and outs of. I'm not allowed to know, but I know that usually when she's out this late, it means that they've got to place somebody and they've got nowhere to put them. I'm not going to get political, but man, when you live with somebody whose job is to kind of sort out people in their absolute worst scenarios and they can't fix it because the system's so messy and weird, it does get to you a little bit that the system's so messy and weird. But yeah, bless her. We're both tired and she's had to work till this late, which she'll get toil, which is great. I got home thinking, I'm home, I can just relax. I'd text my friends saying, I'm going to be out to do some raids later, ready to go, shiny Mewtwo's out, let's get cracking. And literally, I sent that text. Again, universe listening to me. That sent on one side of my phone, on the other side of my phone it popped up, I'm really sorry, I'm running late, I've got to deal with something big at work. I was like, oh, Claire's running a bit late. I'll just pack Ollie outside playing with his friends, Emily's out with him, me and Ben will just sit. Luckily, thank God, they'd eaten. I didn't have to cook for him. I'm such a bad cook. Like, I think if I am cooking for myself, I'm carefree enough that I can just chuck everything in and I'll enjoy it. When I'm cooking for Claire, I stress massively until I've got all of the details right, and then it's a nice meal. When I'm cooking for the kids, I haven't got the stress, but I also haven't got the skills to make... They don't want to eat anything. They literally end up with chips and nuggets because that's all they want. So, yeah, I sorted them out. Most of them, 2 of them had eaten, so I only had to sort Ollie out. He was really good. But, yeah, I was just like, oh, great. Now I've got to just absolutely try and do everything that Claire does and all the stuff that I do. And weirdly, it's actually quite fun. Like, it had the odd hard bit, getting Ollie in, for example. You tell him 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, then he gets upset and you're like, at what point did you forget? It's just a disconnect, bless him. But we've made a deal. He's been begging me all week to play Minecraft with him, and we've made a deal that if he stays in bed, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm giving him one chance, and that is it. And I'm thinking he's got to do it. He wants that so much. He's got to do it. If he doesn't, it gets me out of playing Minecraft, because unless I'm playing it on my screen on my own, it makes me dizzy as hell, so I can't do it. Anyway, enough of that. It's a bit of a waffle. I'm just letting you know that I'm cursed. I am cursed. What I need to say is, oh my God, I don't have any money and the universe needs to just jinx me with a Euro Millions win. That'd be lovely. Just jinx me with a Euro Millions win. Come on. I'd love that, obviously. But yeah, other than that, things are going pretty cool. Work's been fine. I need to take my glasses off because I'm forgetting this. I mean, funnily enough, I've pretty much fixed that issue. I read online if you wipe them with soap, it works. And I might leave them on because it's only a little bit along the bottom. But it worked. I kind of put the soap all over my hands and then rubbed it on the screen and then rinsed them. And it's like there's just a layer of soap that I can't see, but it stops it steaming. Magic. Can't believe it. So I mentioned videos and videos ago about the sheepdog conundrum and the brain space and the problem solving things. And it's quite funny that I solved that problem and then I was talking to Claire about something completely random. Basically, long story short, and to cut to the chase, the new Pokemon Go generation came out last night. And I was telling Claire, oh, I'm going to nip out and do that. And I drove around, parking up, getting her phone and my phone, catching Ollie some of the new ones, me some of the new ones, because he wants to look at them. He's kind of getting back into it, even though he told me he wasn't going to play it, and now he's into it. Got back, and then I actually tweeted. The person who writes the game was tweeting, and I replied to one of her tweets, and she liked it and whatever. And I said to Claire, she probably right now, I'm going to take them off because it's annoying me, has my dream job of, it's a game I play all the time. She gets to just write it, essentially, hype it up, be one of those people that just is like, yeah, this new thing is coming out, this is great, blah, 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 blah. I said to Claire, the only problem with a job like that is she's probably not paid as well as I am. Not that I'm paid particularly outrageously well, but I just imagine it's quite a, popular job in demand that they don't have to pay as much. So she didn't have a quick look at that job, but she had a look. She was like, they get paid pretty well. And she said to me, are you sure that's not what you should be looking to do long term? Not write for Pokemon Go, obviously. But she was like, you do writing, you like games, you're writing books. Why aren't you writing games? And I was like, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. I know some people who write games. So I was looking into it a little bit. And I don't really know that it's not really a firm plan. It's not like I'm going to go and do that and that's going to be the plan. But I am thinking I know there's a bajillion indies out there who need all the help they can get. So I'm wondering whether I might be able to find some. Because back in the day, I was doing Mature Gamer, and we had other podcasts. We had Night Shift, and I know they talked to 1,000,000,001 indie gamers who were making games, indie gaming developers. And I'm thinking I might get in touch with some of them and just see whether they would like any help with writing their stuff and just try my teeth at it. Because you've only got to get a bit of a habit going with it and a bit of experience going with it, and eventually you're just involved, aren't you? And so I feel like that's a bit of a direction that I hadn't really considered. It was just there. It seems so obvious, and it might be completely the stupidest idea ever. Part of me is thinking, if I was telling my mum this, she'd be a bit like, and if my mum's watching, which she might be, because she sometimes comments on my videos instead of doing it here, where it helped the algorithm, she does it on Facebook Messenger about 24 hours after I've released it. Just says, oh, I saw your video, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I'm not going to suddenly go into work and go, right, I quit, I'm working on an indie game. But what I am thinking is if I got into a bit of a patter with people and started writing with them and helping them with stuff, I don't even necessarily need to lead it. I just need to help people with whatever they're already writing. Just pitch in. I reckon people would be up for that. There's going to be someone. So I'm just thinking that's what I'm going to do. I think it's a weird conundrum in itself, because when I don't have other things going on, I end up getting behind on my stuff. I only look at them, I do a couple of words here and there. I've not written my thing in about a week and a half because I'm enjoying this, so I'm not doing it as much. I've been writing notes for what I want to talk about, whatever. But I'm thinking when I do have stuff going on, it starts to get me in the momentum of, right, I'm going to record this, then I'm going to write that, and then when I've sat down, I'm going to write a bit more or whatever. And I just get in this habit, and it's weird because like all my programs are coming back on Sky and everything over the next month and a half, but when they've not been on, I've not been doing all these things to kind of so I can focus on my shows. It's like when the shows are there, I get back in the habit of writing because my habit is that's on and I'm writing while I'm following it, because they're just that level of I don't have to pay attention. Over the summer, it seems to be when I start watching things like The Expanse, where you have to pay attention to every word of it. We've just finished it, and I couldn't do anything while that was on. I had to watch every moment of it closely under like a microscope just to follow what was going on. But I'm thinking it's a weird situation, but yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to look around. So I thought first dibs, talk here. There's about to be someone watching who knows someone or has an idea, because that's how my life seems to work. I put it out there, someone comes to me with have you thought about this, or I talk to this person. So first dibs, you lot, just point me in a direction, because that would be great. So that feels good, because I'm not, as I say, I don't want to sound like I'm saying, yeah, that's that, I'm doing that now, because I sound a bit mental if I do it like that. I sound like a bit all over the place. But it's been a problem in my head, the Sheepdog conundrum of what do I actually want to do. I think that's the first time I've had in a while an answer pop up where I've gone, yeah, that would be a dream. I joked to Claire that if I worked hard enough over the next few years, I said to her, basically, this is the worst time I could have realised this in one regard. Well, no, I said to her, it's the best and worst time, because actually, the games that I'd really want to, like, if you said to me, where would you want to be? What would you want to be working on to be the thing that, like, you've worked really hard, and they say, look, you've got all the experience, you've got all the knowledge, you've got all the reputation, where do you want to work? Kind of, just as a side note, this is something that I think Ian McKellen, the actor, Gandalf, when he started, they said to him, what's your dream job? And he said he wanted to be in Coronation Street. It was something he'd told his mum when he was young he wanted to do. And when he was obviously one of the most famous actors in the world, he went and asked him if he could have a slot. And he did, like, I don't know, a week on Coronation Street. I doubt they even paid him much, but he was just so famous. They were like, yeah. And it was just the thing that he wanted to do. And if I was like him, an Ian McKellen level of fame and blah, 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 then there's probably only Off the top of my head, there's 4 things I'd love to work on, even if it was only for an episode or a bit. Now, the obvious one that goes without saying is Pokemon. I'd bloody love to be involved in... I joke to Claire, Gen 8's out in a month, so if I get hard working now and get my reputation built enough, I could get involved in Gen 9, and if not 9, 10, that's got to be a good aim. The other one, I'm playing Final Fantasy 8 right now. We had Final Fantasy 15 a few years back. I imagine 16's probably too far gone, but 17 or 18, yeah, it's worth a try. They're out every maybe 6 years, so again, it's too far-fetched, but it's a little kind of... It's my Ian McKellen style punt. I'd bloody love to write a Doctor... Someone said to me what they'd love to live in Doctor Who's universe on Twitter. It was Hotshot Rollins said it to me in my comments. I'd bloody love to write a Doctor Who episode/series. That programme is ridiculously good, and I have enough knowledge that I feel like I wouldn't insult all the lore and all of that. I'd bloody love to write that. That'd be like a dream scenario. People like Neil Gaiman have done that, and he's like top notch. He's like a hero of mine, and yeah, if I could follow in his bloody footsteps, then why not? And the other one is a bit old now and a bit unfashionable now, but ever since I was a kid, I've always thought I'd bloody love to write on The Simpsons, even if it was just a joke. If I could just send them a joke and they put it in, I don't imagine that will still be going by the time I've got any kind of skill in writing. But yeah, I think they're my 4 where I'd be like, yeah, if I could build a rep, that's what I'd do. It's weird knowing that it's such a far-fetched and competitive and unlikely scene, which is why I'm not, as I say, sacking in my life and going for it. But I do think, and I was surprised. I think what's given me a bit of a pep is that when I was jokingly saying she does my dream job, Claire she was in the middle of talking to Ollie, and I'd kind of come in to tell her I was nipping out, and then I just mentioned it in passing. She just turned to me and said, "Why don't you just do that? Like, it just seems like such an obvious thing for you to just try and do." She was like, you know, she kind of like I'm saying, she was saying, don't obviously quit the job, we got a mortgage to pay, but do that. You're sat there going, oh, I don't know what is the thing, you're looking for the missing thing, that is it. And I was just like, I suppose so. So that's really been nice. It's been going around in my head all day. I spent literally all day today writing corporate stuff, which sounds like hell, but I really enjoyed it. That is again, it was confirmation for me that I just like the grind of writing. I was given a process to write. It was like a 2,000 word document about how stuff goes from A to B at our company behind the scenes. And it was like the most boring topic. I kind of went a bit snowblind by lunchtime. I said, I don't know if this makes any sense anymore. I need to go and have a break. When I come back, I finished it, wrote a blog that I then went snowblind on because I read it through a million times. I got a text from my boss about 10 minutes ago saying he really liked it, so that's cool. And then I moved on to the next task, and I was just like, I've written so many thousands of words today, and I enjoyed it. It's just bizarre. Like, I had a really good day at work. It was fun. It just feels good that problem seems to have popped in my head, and that bubble has gone. I mean, I think that's probably why it was so good coming home and just sorting it out with the kids and, you know, getting them into bed and everything. It seemed easy because I didn't have the back of my mind trying to chisel through a giant rock of a problem that I can't solve. I don't know whether there's any... what I've done is now I've chiseled the big one into loads of little ones that I now need to go and crack. That's easier to do because there's direction there. I can say, right, first step, I've asked the universe now, you guys, to point me at anyone you know. You might not know anyone. If that doesn't work, Twitter. If Twitter doesn't know, I'll just keep taking shots until I find someone. My plan is work hard, do well, see what happens. Seems like a good plan. So yeah, I didn't actually know what I was going to talk about as much. I'd made some notes, but that's 15 minutes of me talking about solving what has been a very long theme on this channel. I think the only other conundrum I have in my head is what this would be about if I was to just absolutely, you know, ramp it up and go for it sort of thing. And part of me thinks I've got that. If I get success with getting something lined up to talk about and write and plan as a side hustle, that's what I can talk about alongside the ongoing battles with getting Oliver's school life to be as happy as his home life. He had an adorable night, by the way. He was really upset when I asked him to come in because his friend had gone in for dinner literally as I said he had 2 minutes. He was like, I just told her I'd be here when she got back. And he was so disappointed. And I said, look, we'll make a deal. I got him in by saying, if you come in, you brush your teeth and get your pyjamas on. When she finishes her dinner, you can stand at the front door and chat for a little bit while I bath Ben. He didn't quite go to plan because he didn't brush his teeth or get washed or changed because she ate quicker than we expected. But because he didn't want to stand at the front door, he sat on the sofa. He sat in the window. She stood in our front garden and they just chatted. And Emily was playing a game with them. And I bathed Ben and all that, come back down. They were perfectly fine. And then they had their usual departure and it was all like, I love you lots, you know, good night, hug. And it was just lovely. And it's really heartwarming. And Ollie seemed really peaceful and happy and at ease because he just felt he has a friend, he feels liked, and that's all he's ever wanted. He always gets upset if he's on his own. If Emily had someone sleep over, he wants someone to sleep, and you know, all that stuff. And he just feels like he lacks that other person who likes him a lot and wants to be around him and play with him. And he seems so, it's beautiful. I love it. He called her back and he said, I will always play with you no matter what, even if I'm ill. He was like, you know, all you have to do is ask and I'll always come out and play with you, because I think she gets worried that he doesn't want to or whatever. And he was like, unless I'm ill, I won't hug you if I'm sick, because I'll be sick on you and I don't want to cover you in sick. And it was like, it went from this really sweet thing into this really bizarre, I don't want to vomit on you kind of speech. But they hugged it off, and then she got called in and she was like, oh, she's going, Mum, wait, he's talking to me. And then, oh, it was really sweet. So I'm enjoying that. It's been really cool, and he seems really happy. I think it's helping at school as well, because obviously he's not worrying about everyone there and fixating on not seeing them in the afternoons and all that nonsense. So yeah, finishing on that note, that's been great. Hope you're all well. Let me know how you're getting on. Yeah, all that usual stuff. Subscribe, like, comment, all of that, and I'll chat to you tomorrow. Cheers.